So I have to say I'm a little bit weird because I have loved medical education since probably the first week of medical school. And then I found myself in a classroom, in a lecture hall, learning about basic physiology, anatomy, and such. And it was in that moment that I realized that all that educational psychology, educational theory that I had previously learned about was not really being seen in the manifestations of the medical culture that I was being inculcated within. And so that was a very interesting phenomenon. And I reflected upon how I'd like to try to change that. So I got involved with committees and got involved with medical education things, try to figure out what it exactly I wanted to do in medical education and find a specialty that would be actually something where I could have the time to do it. I would say that I don't think you usually know what projects you'll get handed and what opportunities you'll be given until you're faced with them. And so I think a big part of it is getting to know the people around you so they can put you in front of the right other people and opportunities. And I think that it's been very beneficial for me to have mentors in medical education that helped me with that. I believe this is a concept most attributed to Jason Frank. He's one of the head medical educators at the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada. And so he has mentored a lot of his colleagues, and this is a concept attributed to him, the idea of having a board of directors for your life. So not just having one single mentor, because they can't usually do it all, right? You might have a different mentor for how to establish work-life balance, another one about writing and academic processes. You might have another that's about classroom teaching and another for clinical teaching. So assembling what that group of people looks like, and you may have to hire and fire them and juggle your board once in a while, but the idea is that you're going to have a collection of people that might make up your advisory board of your life so that you can achieve the success that you'd like to. When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else you're already doing, whether or not that's mindful or not. So saying no, as they put it, is a way of saying yes to all the things you're already doing. Because a lot of us will come in with a lot of things. And I think that as junior faculty members, that's where you feel the most pressure, is your division chair comes up to you, your mentor comes up to you, the editor of a journal comes up to you and says, will you? And there's all these will yous, and you're getting a little bit overwhelmed. And so you have to think through how you're going to make that decision-making process about how you're going to choose the things that work for you, but also maybe carry the weight of the ability to allow you to reframe your world, learn something, whatever the algorithm it is for you to choose through your opportunities. I think it's important to kind of set that as a priority ahead of time so that when you're faced with a decision, you kind of have your mandate for what you need to prioritize. I think that you need to read your institution. You need to probably shop for the right institution that will value your work as well when you're looking for your job. And so I think that would be one insight, is to look around at different centers and see who's going to give you, let's say, an EVU, an educational value unit, as opposed to an RVU, like a revenue-based unit, right? Or that would value a innovation paper as much as they would value a research paper, right? And then on top of that, if you're limited by geography because of, your spouse or other life situations, family and things like that, you may want to look at the culture and decide that you need to make some decisions and establish your career in line with what the expectations are. So if you know that your tenure promotion process is going to value publications, well then you can definitely do publications in medical education. There's no stopping you from doing that. If innovation or quality improvement is the way, well then link up quality improvement with CME and find a way to kind of, align your interests with the interests of the greater organization. I think that's one of the tricks. sometimes the reward is explaining a concept to a clinical clerk that just hasn't gotten it for like 6 rotations, and finally you find the right analogy that they're like, aha, I get it now. And sometimes those are the moments you do medical education, right? Like sometimes those are the moments that you're like, this is why I'm doing this.